Have you ever felt like life just keeps hitting you one wave after another? A tough breakup, a project that fails, losing someone you love, or just that nagging feeling of not being good enough. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. But what if I told you that this pain, the very thing we try so hard to avoid, could be your greatest source of strength and growth? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a 2,000-year-old philosophy that has guided emperors, artists, and leaders through their darkest times. Today, we're diving deep into the Stoic art of turning pain into power. The ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, were masters of resilience. They didn't have easy lives. They faced exile, political turmoil, disease, and betrayal. Yet, they developed a mindset that allowed them to not just endure hardship, but to use it as a tool for self-improvement. The core idea is simple but revolutionary. We don't control what happens to us, but we have absolute control over how we respond. Let's start with the first, and perhaps most crucial, Stoic principle: the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most respected philosophers of his time, taught that we must distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. Think about it. You can't control the weather, the economy, or what other people think of you. You can't control getting sick or facing an unexpected loss. Wasting energy trying to change these things is a recipe for frustration and suffering. What can you control? Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, and your responses. That's it. That's your kingdom. When pain strikes, a Stoic doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What can I do about this? What part of this situation is within my power?" Imagine you get laid off from your job. The initial shock and fear are natural. But after that initial reaction, you have a choice. You can fall into despair, blaming the company or the economy, things outside your control. Or you can focus on what you can control. You can update your resume. You can network with old colleagues. You can learn a new skill. You can reflect on what you truly want from your career. The event itself, losing your job, is neutral. It's your response that defines it as either a catastrophe or an opportunity. This shift in focus from the external event to your internal response is the first step in turning pain into growth. The second powerful Stoic tool is what's known as the art of acquiescence, or amor fati, a phrase popularized by Nietzsche, but deeply rooted in Stoic thought. It means a love of fate. This doesn't mean you should be passive or enjoy suffering. It means accepting reality exactly as it is, without complaint. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think of a fire. If you try to block its path with small, flammable objects, you only fuel it. But if you clear a path or use its heat for a purpose, you harness its power. Similarly, when you fight against a painful reality, you often just create more suffering for yourself. You're adding a layer of resistance and frustration on top of the initial pain. Amor fati invites you to say yes to life, warts and all. That difficult boss? An opportunity to practice patience and communication. A chronic illness? A chance to cultivate inner strength and appreciate the small joys of a good day. A betrayal by a friend? A hard lesson in trust and human nature that will make you wiser. By embracing what happens, you stop wasting energy on what-ifs and if-onlys. You redirect that energy toward constructive action. You look at the obstacle in front of you and, like a master strategist, you ask, "How can I use this? How can this challenge make me better?" This is not about toxic positivity or pretending you're not hurt. It's about acknowledging the pain and then choosing to find the purpose within it. It is a profound shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being a student of them. Now, let's talk about the third technique, the view from above. This is a powerful visualization exercise practiced by the Stoics to gain perspective. When we're in pain, our world can shrink down to the size of our suffering. That one problem, that one source of hurt, can feel like the entire universe. The view from above asks you to imagine yourself floating up, out of your body. You see yourself in your room, then your house in your neighborhood, then your city from above. You keep rising, seeing your country, the continent, and then the entire earth as a small, blue marble suspended in the vast, silent darkness of space. You see all of history, empires rising and falling, generations living and dying, stars being born and collapsing. From this cosmic perspective, how big does your problem seem now? How significant is that embarrassing moment or that financial setback in the grand scheme of things? This exercise isn't meant to diminish your feelings or invalidate your pain. On the contrary, it's meant to contextualize it. It helps you see that your current struggle is a tiny part of a much larger, magnificent tapestry. It helps you detach from the overwhelming emotion of the moment and see the situation with more clarity and less panic. It reminds you that this too shall pass, just as everything else in the history of the universe has. When you're caught in the grip of anxiety or grief, try this. Close your eyes and take that journey. It can provide an immediate sense of relief and perspective, allowing you to approach your problem with a calmer, more rational mind. Your pain is real, but it is not the whole of reality. Finally, the fourth Stoic practice is arguably the most proactive, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This might sound pessimistic, but it's actually a powerful tool for building resilience. The idea is to regularly and calmly visualize things going wrong. Think about what you fear most. What's the worst that could happen in your career, your relationships, or your health? Don't dwell on it to the point of anxiety, but calmly consider it. Imagine losing your job, a loved one getting sick, or a project failing spectacularly. Seneca said, "He suffers more than is necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." The point isn't to suffer in advance, but to prepare. By mentally rehearsing potential misfortunes, you do two things. First, you strip them of their power to shock you. If and when something bad happens, you've already been there in your mind. The initial panic is reduced because the scenario isn't entirely new. You've already started thinking about how you might cope. Second, it fosters gratitude. When you regularly contemplate loss, you become profoundly grateful for what you have right now. You appreciate your health more after contemplating illness. You cherish your loved ones more after contemplating their absence. It makes the present moment richer and more vibrant. So, how do we put this all together? Let's take a real-life example. Let's say you've spent a year training for a marathon, but a week before the race, you get injured and can't compete. The pain is immense physical, but also emotional. All that work, seemingly for nothing. A Stoic approach would look like this. First, apply the dichotomy of control. You can't control the injury. It has happened, but you can control your response. You can follow your doctor's advice for recovery. You can focus on gentle rehabilitation, and you can manage your frustration. Next, amor fati, accept this new reality. Fighting it won't heal your leg. Instead of "this is a disaster," you might reframe it as "this is the path I'm on now. What can I learn from it?" Perhaps this is an opportunity to learn about proper recovery, to develop patience, or to find other ways to be active while you heal. The obstacle becomes the way. Then, use the view from above. In the grand scheme of your life, is this one missed race the defining moment? Probably not. It's a setback, a chapter, but not the whole story. This perspective helps reduce the feeling of catastrophe. Finally, think about premeditatio malorum. If you had previously considered the possibility of injury, you would have been mentally prepared. You might have even had a backup plan. More importantly, it would have made you appreciate every single training run you completed without injury. Pain is a teacher, and Stoicism is the language it speaks. It teaches us that resilience isn't about being unfeeling or emotionless. It's about feeling everything, but choosing a wise and virtuous response. It's about understanding that every obstacle is an opportunity to practice courage, patience, and wisdom. The universe will throw challenges at you. That's a guarantee. But you hold the ultimate power, the power to decide what those challenges will mean. Will they be roadblocks that stop you in your tracks, or will they be stepping stones to a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself? The choice, as the Stoics knew, is always yours. Thank you for watching. If this philosophy resonates with you, let me know in the comments how you plan to apply it to a challenge in your own life. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content on practical wisdom for modern life. See you next time.